Dear friends, I'm operator Starsky reporting on day 1195 of Russia's three-day war against Ukraine. Welcome back to the Frontline Focus, your trusted source of the most recent news and updates from the front lines of common sense. Today with 69% more sarcasm. Buckle up, my friends, because yesterday the mighty security service of Ukraine did something that will definitely go down in history as Russia's cringiest moment, at least since the Russian flagship Moskva discovered negative buoyancy. So here's what happened. Yesterday, 1st of June 2025, you probably gotta write that down, exactly on the day when the Russian pilots celebrated the day of founding of the Russian military cargo aviation, Ukraine launched one of the most ridiculously awesome drone attacks in the modern military history. As a result of this strike, 41 Russian bombers were either destroyed or rendered inoperable. That's enough planes to basically start your own failed air force. And the reason we know the number is because each hit was recorded in glorious Full HD. How did they do that? Well, the operation that was planned for a year and a half involved 150 drones and 300 charges that were smuggled via Kazakhstan, as well as a bunch of Ukrainian agents and Russian KAMAZ trucks. That's right, Security Service of Ukraine turned ordinary cargo trucks into sneaky little Trojan horses, hiding drones inside them like a Russian babushka hides her best vodka. The drones, mind you, were Ukrainian-made AI-powered, stealthy little beasts with the explosive power of a bear in a fireworks shop. These beauties were smuggled close to the Russian air bases, within striking distance, and then launched like a surprise birthday party that ended in flames. We're talking about 4 different Russian air bases: Belaya, Dyagilevo, Alenia, and Ivanovo, some of them located thousands kilometers from Ukraine. Imagine all those comfy air bases Russia thought were far away from danger. Surprise, comrade! Ukraine says, "Здоровенькі були." Now, how do you hide dozens of drones from Russia's law enforcement and FSB? Well, you literally store them next to the FSB office, like in Chelyabinsk. You put them in trucks that look like your average KAMAZ hauling potatoes, and you wait until the vodka breaks open. Once the time was right, 116 tiny deadly drones took off from their launch pads installed in the trucks and went flying straight at Russia's most valuable bombers, those Tu-95s and Tu-22s that have been launching cruise missiles into Ukraine for years, targeting hospitals, kindergartens and power plants. So what's the result? Well, Russia is now down 41 strategic bombers, which is a third of their strategic air fleet. That's like losing your entire air base 3 times. These are not some disposable Russian planes, my friends. These are multi-million-dollar aircraft, some of them older than your mom's first microwave, but still they were absolutely crucial to Russia's campaign of missile terror. Losing those planes means Russia's ability to strike Ukrainian cities from a safe distance just got reduced faster than a bottle of cognac in Lukashenko's kitchen. As a response, the Russian degenerates declared that Ukraine conducted a terrorist attack. Think about it, a terrorist attack on peaceful Russian strategic bombers used by the Russian invaders to kill Ukrainian civilians. I think Putin should really work harder on his narratives, because in 21st century they suck. And while the Kremlin was still trying to figure out how to explain to Putin that he had lost 1/3 of his strategic air fleet in just a single strike, tonight Ukraine struck again. Tonight's strike involved a big number of long-range Ukrainian drones targeting terror Russia's military facilities in Kursk, Belgorod, in Rostov, Voronezh, Tula, and Moscow Oblast. Literally, it's such a joy seeing those UFOs flying happily deep into Russian airspace like they own the place, which, to be fair, they kind of do now. Meanwhile, explosions were confirmed by the local Russian Telegram channels, with plenty of footage as always, including those scary plumes of smoke at the Russian nuclear submarine base in Severomorsk. To all the brave security service of Ukraine operatives, engineers, intelligence teams, and the truck drivers who probably said, "I swear, officer, I had no idea what's in the back," we salute you, absolutely. By the way, all the undercover operatives have safely returned home, and the Russian truck drivers were, of course, arrested by the Russian cops, according to their own media. And despite they've obviously had no clue about what they were carrying in their trucks, I predict that very soon we will see a new episode of this Russian comedy called Interrogating Dangerous Terrorists connected to ISIS and trained by the Nazi NATO instructors in Ukrainian camps. Most probably they will be missing some ears as well. Meanwhile, a lot of experts agree that this operation was a masterpiece of modern asymmetric warfare. Sun Tzu would have high-fived every single one of Ukrainian officers who planned this operation. The fake Russian peace negotiations are starting in Istanbul, my friends. The so-called Russian negotiators, basically a group of random Russian individuals, obviously collected somewhere around Kremlin, you know, some dudes from kitchen, public bathroom and smoking room. So those guys were supposed to deliver Ukraine the Russian memorandum, which they didn't because they literally had no such intention in the first place. Actually, not much to tell here, my friends, because Putin is panically afraid of facing Ukrainian President Zelensky, and there is absolutely no chance for him to ever arrive to such peace talks. Of course, if Putin wanted those peace talks to be held at all, which he doesn't. Ukraine offers three key points: an unconditional ceasefire, the mutual humanitarian efforts, and meeting of leaders, because let's be honest, a leader of a country should discuss such thing with another leader, not with a random Russian dude who was buying cigarettes at the Red Square and all of a sudden got offered to represent Russia in Istanbul. The Russians agreed to talk peace in March, kinda. It's June outside, the fire has not stopped even for a day, which proves that the Russian promises are worth just as much as a decaf coffee at 6 a.m. And now, my dear friends, let's check out the latest Russian cringe. I know you've been waiting for it. The Victory Day in Russia has long passed, but its echo still lingers in the social media. Some videos took a while to get to us, apparently because the Russian internet in some particular settlements is just as reliable as a paper umbrella in a hurricane. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kolyma, Russia's favorite place to celebrate historical triumphs, in front of buildings that lost their will to live somewhere around 1974. And guys, this place has not been bombed, I swear, not a single Ukrainian drone has come here. It's just the way it is in the land of the Russian superpower. And it's not just in Kolyma, that's basically everywhere as far as 50 kilometers away from Moscow and beyond. Just look at that crowd of happy Russian citizens braving the harsh winds of nuclear winter cosplay and proudly waving their red flags, as if they're trying to say, "We live in the mighty Russia, the Russia that is so much feared by the Nazi NATO forces." And as for the roofs and the windows and the asphalt, just ignore it, okay? Apparently it was stolen by Obama. I am not really sure if there's even any military in the crowd. Probably that guy in the tracksuit can be a local general, or possibly just Alexei from the fish market. We'll never know. What we do know, though, is that Russians have absolutely no time to care about their well-being, their infrastructure, about restoring their roofs, repairing their sewage, Apparently because they have a much more important thing to do, like killing Ukrainians and threatening the West with their nukes. And with that, my dear friends and family, I wish you all a beautiful day. Please subscribe to stay informed about the most important updates and share this content to help Ukraine be heard. I'll see you in the comments. I'm Operator Starsky, and as always, be safe.